බිස්කට් වේදිකාවට දැන් පැමිණි සීඝ්‍රගාමී රසයේ මංචි පොටේටෝ ක්‍රැකර්. බිස්කට් වේදිකාවට දැන් පැමිණි සීඝ්‍රගාමී රසයේ මංචි පොටේටෝ ක්‍රැකර්.
On satellite, on Freeview, on cable, on radio, on mobile, on the web and around the world. This is First at 9 on Other Derana 24/7.
Making headlines first at 9, taking oaths, new ministers for Buddha Sasana and justice. In Parliament today, local government election amendment bill passed with a majority. Building up the economy, Prime Minister asked entrepreneurs to invest more internationally.
Countries that started after us have become competitive, like Singapore, Malaysia, Vietnam, Bangladesh, but we are not.
Suspended again, Upul Tharanga banned for 2 one-day internationals, Kapugedara at the helm. And in international headlines, vanishing act, former Thai Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra flees country ahead of trial verdict. New ministers, a bill passed in Parliament and a missing former Prime Minister. Those are some of the stories we are covering for you tonight on First at 9. Good evening everyone, I'm Mahesh Johnny and we begin tonight in the Parliament. Local Authorities Elections Amendment Bill passed in Parliament today with amendments. 120 parliamentarians voted in favour of the bill while 44 parliamentarians representing the joint opposition abstained from voting.
The committee staged debate pertaining to the Local Authorities Elections Amendment Bill commenced, withholding all other activities today.
The joint opposition gave many proposals to the government. There are problems with the election system and we can't use our votes in favour of this bill. But we will give our support so that the Election Commission can hold the election independently.
Minister of Provincial Councils and Local Government, Faiza Mustafa, then presented necessary amendments with regard to the bill. Meanwhile, Leader of the House, Lakshman Kiriyalla, requested the committee's staged debate to be suspended for 10 minutes.
Are you going to delete that clause? Why are you depriving the Tarunaya?
That's a decision taken by the government.
We adjourn for 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Suspended for 10 minutes.
The debate resumed at 11:10 a.m. with the subject minister presenting the necessary amendments to Parliament. Minister Mustafa had also included JVP's amendments on women's representation and candidates' deposit into the amended bill. The Speaker then gave the opportunity to present new proposals pertaining to the bill. Parliamentarian Dinesh Gunawardena voiced his opposition regarding an article mentioned in the bill.
A public officer who is engaged in field-based activity, who has not ceased to serve within a local authority area in which he seeks a nomination at least 1 year prior to the election for such local authority. For the purpose of this subsection, a public officer who is engaged in field-based activity shall include any person who is engaged in any development, welfare, economic, social, health or such other activity within the scope of his employment.
මේ අපේ රටේ දීර්ඝකාලික අරගලයකින් රජයේ සේවකයන් දිනාගත් අයිතියක් කරු කතානායකතුමා. මේ අයිතිය අපි සියලු දෙනා භුක්ති විඳිනවා. Please allow me to explain. Why are you getting up? So you sit down, will you? No, you sit down. මේ සේවාවල නියත කිසි කෙනෙක්ට තරඟයට එන්න බෑ. ඒ නිසා මේක මූලික අයිතිවාසිකමක් අවශ්‍ය කිරීමක්.
ගරු කතානායකතුමනි මේගොල්ලෝ රජ සේවකයෝ ගස් බැන්ද අය.
හොඳයි. රාජ්‍ය සේවකයාට මේ ආකාරයේ බරපතල කප්පාදුවක් කිරීම අපි විශ්වාස කරන්නේ නැහැ සාධාරණයි කියලා.
හොඳයි ගරු
මන්ත්‍රී. අපේ ඉල්ලීම මුළු මනින්ම මේ වගන්තිය.
හොඳයි ගරු මන්ත්‍රීතුමා. Honorable Leader of the Opposition.
I think public servants in this country have enjoyed certain political rights in keeping with certain conditions. They want to contest an election, they must go on leave. If they are elected to public office, they must give up their public service. I think, sir, it is nothing but fair to retain that entitlement of public servants who desire to participate in a political career to be permitted.
I'll take that point, yes, okay.
I think that's a matter.
Garu, Honorable Yeah, let him finish, Honorable Leader.
Conflict of interest.
Yeah.
Man has to go on leave during the election, and if the man wins, we'll have to give up his public position.
All right.
His public office. So I think the government must consider.
Yes, Honorable Leader of the House.
With respect to Honorable Leader of the Opposition, all public servants are not shut out. Not all.
Yeah, okay.
Not all. Only certain types of public servants that do field service activity, like Samurthi people, Grama Sevakas, all public servants are not shut out. Teachers can get tests.
Garu, Amathatuma Yojana, Piliganwada, Vakshandap Yojana.
May I be permitted to bring to notice of the House that there was consultation with the Election Commissioner, consequent to consultation with the Election Commissioner.
You are
කොමිසම අපිට හම්බුනේ නැහැ. අපි හම්බුනාම එහෙම දෙයක් කිව්වේ නැහැ අපිට. ඇමතිතුමා කියන දේ පිළිගන්න නම් කොමිසම ගේන්න ඕනේ.
Following disagreements by the subject minister, parliamentarian Vimal Veeravansha then requested a vote on MP Dinesh Gunawardana's proposal. 120 votes were cast against the proposal, while 44 parliamentarians representing the joint opposition cast their votes in favour of it. The opposition leader abstained from casting his vote, while UNP, UPFA parliamentarians representing the government, TNA and the JVP voted against the proposal. Rest of the amendments were then presented to the parliament. Concluding the committee stage debate and third reading of the bill, the Speaker then informed Parliament that it was passed with amendments. However, parliamentarians representing the joint opposition refused to accept the decision and requested a vote for the third reading, leading to a heated debate. Accepting the joint opposition's request, the Speaker held a voting session for the third reading of the bill. The UNP, UPFA parliamentarians representing the government, TNA and the JVP cast their vote in favour of the bill. 44 parliamentarians representing the joint opposition abstained from casting their vote during the session. Accordingly, the Local Authorities Elections Amendment Bill passed in the Parliament today with 120 votes in favour.
Speaking on the new local government elections bill today, Deputy Minister of Finance and Mass Media, Lasantha Alagiyawanna, said field officers not being permitted to contest in the upcoming local government elections poses a problem for the SLFP. He made this remark at a media briefing held in Colombo today.
As a party, we are affected by the decision to not let field officers, such as those in Samurdhi and agriculture sectors, to contest the local government elections. As the chairman of the Election Commission said, we will be able to hold elections before the end of the year. I wish to tell the players to be prepared to play the match. In the previous electoral system, let us assume that party A, B or C obtained an X number of votes. Party A has 10 electoral seats, Party B has 7 seats, and Party C has 3 seats. Candidates are elected for 7 seats of Party A according to the preferential system. The new electoral system will be proportional representation. In line with the proportional representation system, if Party A has 7 seats but has won 10 seats instead, then the remaining 10 seats will be filled from the national list.
The joint opposition today voiced their displeasure over disallowing field officers in government to contest local government elections as proposed in the new Local Government Election Amendment Bill. At a media briefing in Colombo, UPFA parliamentarian Vimal Weerawansa alleged that the act was introduced to curb support for the joint opposition in the upcoming elections.
Through this action, we can say that even though they are from different parties, they all supported the bill and have the same agenda. Why are they trying to take away the rights of government employees to contest elections? If the government believes that there is a large number of government employees who will contest under our list, and if they introduce this article in order to prevent this, we will prove to them that even though they remove the rights of one, there are 10 more who are eligible to contest. They are proposing that to contest elections, field officers will have to resign from their post a year in advance. If they resign tomorrow and the article is passed today, it will not even be a year as elections are to be held this December. That means this was done purposely to prevent field officers contesting elections.
Today
will be the day marked in history on which the Parliament of Sri Lanka was left tainted. The government destroyed the rights of government employees to contest elections and also took away the rights of the youth, which were enjoyed for the past 30 years. We would like to tell the chairman of the Elections Commission once again that it is the commission that has the power to hold elections, no matter what amendments are being tabled and passed. Therefore, we would like to request the election commissioner to hold elections as soon as possible.
The chairman of the Elections Commission, Mahinda Deshapriya, makes evident that local government elections can be held this year if the Speaker signs the Local Authorities Elections Amendment Bill prior to the 15th of September. The chairman of the Elections Commission made this comment at an exclusive interview with Ada Derana today.
The Act becomes law after the Speaker of the Parliament signs, which might take several days. We need at least 75 days from the day we get the legalized Act. It might even take several days more. We hope if we get it before the 15th of September, we will be able to hold elections before the ordinary level examinations. If we are unable to hold elections before the 9th of December, we will have to postpone them to next year. A date can be fixed only after the Election Commission convenes and discusses it. The chairman of the Election Commission can't give a final decision.
The commander of Sri Lanka Navy, Vice Admiral Travis Sinaya, says steps will be taken to eliminate the smuggling of drugs into Sri Lanka by sea within a year. He made the assertion today speaking to media in Kandy after calling on the chief prelates of the Malwatu and Askiri chapters.
Newly appointed Navy Commander Vice Admiral Travis Sinaya arrived in Kandy today and paid homage to the Temple of the Sacred Tooth relic. He also called on the Chief Prelate of the Askiri chapter, Most Venerable Varkagoda Sri Gnanaratana Thera, and the Chief Prelate of the Malwatu chapter, Most Venerable Tibbatuwave Sri Sumangala Thera. Subsequently, the Navy Commander responded to questions raised by media.
We are
obtaining a number of large vessels for that purpose. Give us a year and we can stop the inflow of narcotics by sea.
His friendship to all. Kawuru aawat me පැත්තට ඕන එක්කිනුර අපි උදව් කරනවා. ඒත් අපේ සම්පත් අපට.
In one of our headline stories, the two ministerial positions left vacant with the removal of parliamentarians Wijayadasa Rajapaksa as the Minister of Justice and Buddhasasana were filled today. Minister Thalatha Athakorala took oath as the new Minister of Justice before President Maithripala Sirisena, with Minister Gamini Jayavikrama Perera appointed as the new Minister of Buddhasasana.
MP Wijayadasa Rajapaksa was stripped of both his ministerial assignments following a request made of President Maithripala Sirisena by the United National Party. The two ministerial positions left vacant by his removal were fulfilled by Minister Thalatha Athakorala and Minister Gamini Jayavikrama Perera at the official residence of President Maithripala Sirisena today. Accordingly, Minister Thalatha Athukorala, who also holds the ministerial portfolio of foreign employment, took oath before President Maithripala Sirisena as the new Minister of Justice. Minister Gamini Jayavikrama Perera, who also holds the ministerial portfolios of sustainable development and wildlife, took oath as the new Minister of Buddhasasana. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe and Secretary to the President Austin Fernando were present at the occasion.
I will protect Buddhasasana, ensure unity among all parties while promoting Buddhasasana. He made a wrong statement. He said he noticed corruption in Parliament. If he resigned before he was removed, he could have shown his nobility.
Parliamentarian Ravi Karunanayake is confident of defeating the no-confidence motion brought against Minister of Health, Nutrition and Indigenous Medicine, Dr. Rajitha Senaratne, as he said it will be crushed by a two-thirds majority. He was speaking at a media briefing convened today by several backbenchers of the United National Party.
What we see here is an attack on ministers who do their job. We not only categorically reject this no-confidence motion, we will defeat it by a two-thirds majority and show Rajitha that we have complete confidence in him. In parliamentary tradition, a no-confidence motion against a minister is a last resort. We'd like to tell the joint opposition that no matter how many no-confidence motions you bring, it will sadly become a joke, devaluing the motion. We are preparing to deliver a better reply than ever before to this no-confidence motion. It will be a death blow to their opportunistic politics.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe urges Sri Lankan entrepreneurs to be internationally competitive and vows to support their efforts through government action. The Premier made this assertion today during a wide-ranging address at an event held in Colombo, where he added that the new Inland Revenue Bill will be tabled in Parliament during the next parliamentary week on the 6th or the 7th of September.
The inauguration of the Construct 2017 exhibition, organised by the National Construction Association of Sri Lanka, was held today in Colombo under the patronage of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. Minister of Housing and Construction Sajith Premadasa was the guest of honour at the event.
The construction industry needs to effectively play its role in the economy by realising its potential to create jobs in all parts of the country. New strategies are necessary to make this possible. With public funds under severe strain, ways have to be found to structure suitable funding strategies.
We want Sri Lankans to be competitive internationally. Countries that started after us have become competitive, like Singapore, Malaysia, Vietnam, Bangladesh, but we are not. So we want them to become competitive so that our market is not 24 million, but at least be 2.4 billion. Go out if you are manufacturing. We will help you. We are coming up with a trade adjustment package. We are coming up by next parliamentary week on the 6th or 7th, we'll pass the new Inland Revenue Bill. We are going to start it today, but we had the other bill. New Inland Revenue Bill, which will give good incentives for the next 3-4 years. After the incentives go away, because we want all the investments made, create the jobs in the short term.
The Prime Minister also stated that the government is rearranging expenditure on its buildings.
You don't win votes by making ministry building. You have to use it for other purposes. So we are not taking it away from the building, but we will use it mainly to get middle-class housing in the cities. So we are transforming from buildings in which officers are there for 8 hours to buildings with people live for 24 hours.
In other local stories, it was revealed today that several important recordings are missing in the list of telephone conversations handed over by Perpetual Treasuries Private Limited following an order issued by the Presidential Commission of Inquiry probing the controversial bond issuance. Accordingly, the Commission ordered Perpetual Treasuries to provide their system password to retrieve data if they are unable to give the Commission the required information.
Following an order by the Commission of Inquiry, Perpetual Treasuries Private Limited recently handed over a list of telephone conversations, although the Commission later revealed the number of the recipient and the time of the call were not recorded in the list. CEO of Perpetual Treasuries, Kasun Palisena, said under oath that the software does not record the number or the time of the call. Upon the resumption of proceedings today, following a week's hiatus to examine the 240,000 recordings of telephone conversations, The Attorney General's department pointed out that 4 telephone conversations are missing from the recordings. The conversations are related to selling bonds which were bought at the auction held on the 27th of February 2015 to the Employees Provident Fund for 2 billion rupees in the secondary market. CEO of Perpetual Treasuries Kasun Palisene responded that none of the recordings were damaged and all of them were handed over to the Commission. However, the company from which Perpetual Treasuries bought the voice recording system informed the Commission that the relevant system, called Voice Logger, was designed to record the telephone number and the time of the call. Accordingly, the Commission ordered Perpetual Treasuries to hand over all missing data to the Commission as quickly as possible. The Commission also ordered Perpetual Treasuries Private Limited to hand over the password of the system, which could be used to extract the relevant data with help from the company which designed the system if they are unable to provide the missing details.
The Department of Examinations today announced that the Common General Test and the Information and Communication Technology second paper of the 2017 GCE Advanced Level Examination are postponed from the 2nd to the 4th of September in view of the Hajj festival. Commissioner General of Examination WMNJ Pushpakumar stated that the admission forms issued for all candidates will be valid for that date, while the Department of Examinations can be contacted on their hotline 1911 for further information. Now with that, let's move on to some other stories making news across Sri Lanka.
A fire erupted at a fuel station today in Kalagirihena in Nittambua, obstructing traffic along the Colombo-Kandy main road. The fire is now under control, with its cause yet unknown. A 19-year-old girl sitting for her advanced level examinations was sexually abused and murdered in her residence in Rakwana yesterday. Rakwana police arrested a 27-year-old man from the area who later confessed to the crime. The suspect is remanded until the 6th of September, while he is also on trial for the rape and murder of his aunt.
Also in international news, the U.S. state of Texas is bracing itself for Hurricane Harvey, the worst storm to hit the U.S. mainland since October 2005, when Hurricane Wilma struck the coast of Florida. The Category 3 storm, currently in the Gulf of Mexico, is expected to make landfall along the state's central coast early tomorrow, whipping winds of around 200 kilometers per hour.
Authorities warn that torrential rain and storm surges could bring life-threatening flooding to Houston and surrounding areas, and residents have been urged to evacuate low-lying areas. Meanwhile, the storm will also affect the Texan oil refining industry, and energy companies have been evacuating staff from offshore platforms in the Gulf of Mexico, while on land, oil refineries are shutting down, pushing fuel prices to a 3-week high.
Ousted former Thai Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra has fled Thailand as the Supreme Court issued an arrest warrant after she failed to attend the court for the verdict in a negligence case brought against her by the ruling junta. Sources close to the former Premier made the revelation today but did not give details of her current whereabouts.
Former Thai Premier Yingluck Shinawatra failed to appear for the verdict in her trial over a controversial rice subsidy scheme that cost the state billions of dollars. Yingluck's lawyer informed the Supreme Court that the former Premier was ill and unable to attend. An official Supreme Court statement, however, rejected the excuse, and the Supreme Court has delayed the verdict to the 27th of September. Yingluck has pleaded not guilty to the charges and, if convicted, faces a possible 10-year jail term and a lifetime ban from politics.
Welcome back once again. Let's take you straight to the stock market. Shares ended firmer today, recovering from an over 4-month closing low hit in a previous session as investors brought battered shares following the government's decision to drop a proposed tax on profits from share trading. The all share price index ended 26 points higher at 6,409, edging up from its lowest close since the 18th of April hit yesterday. The index is still down for 0.42% during the week, recording its 6th weekly fall. International media report that Sri Lanka is likely to miss its revenue target this year due to delays in implementing proposals set out in the 2017 budget. A top financial ministry official told Reuters that a raft of proposals including personal income tax, withholding tax and remittance taxes proposed in the budget are yet to be implemented, and the new Inland Revenue Bill will be presented in 2 weeks' time. Sri Lanka has targeted revenue of 2.088 trillion rupees this year, a 27% rise from last year's total revenue. A.K. Seniviratne, Director General of the Fiscal Policy Department at the Finance Ministry, said full-year revenue is expected to be around 1.9 trillion rupees, according to an assessment based on revenue figures at the end of July. Now for a detailed picture of how the markets performed during the week, here's Upul Athapathu from NDB Securities with our weekly review.
During the week, ASPI lost 0.4%, recording its 6th consecutive weekly loss. S&P SL20 also lost 0.4% for the week. This was mainly due to price losses in blue-chip counters such as John Keells Holdings, Melsta Corp and Nestle Lanka. The average daily turnover was down from last week to 528 million rupees. Diversified sector recorded the highest sector turnover during the week, while second highest was seen in banks, finance and insurance sector. Foreigners remained active for the week, where foreign purchases accounted for 38% of the total weekly turnover.
On to sports now. Captain of the Sri Lankan cricket team, Upul Tharanga, will miss the 3rd and 4th one-day internationals between Sri Lanka and India after he received a suspension for an overweight offence. The suspension is Tharanga's 2nd in 3 months after he sat out 2 matches in the Champions Trophy in June. With Tharanga's suspension and Dhanushka Gunathilaka injuring his shoulder while fielding in the 2nd one-day international yesterday, Dinesh Chandimal and Lahiru Thirimana have been drafted into the side. Chamara Kapugedera will captain the Sri Lankan team in Tharanga's absence. While Katharina Chang is at the other Derana Weather Centre with tomorrow's weather.
A very good evening and welcome to the Weather Centre tonight. Now we can expect a gradual formation of a low pressure zone in the southwest region of the island, which could lead to some wet weather on Sunday and Monday. Fairly strong winds can be expected in most parts of the island over the next 24 hours. Meanwhile, wet weather is also forecasted over the western part of the island as well as the Sabaragama and central provinces and Galle and Matra districts. It's now time to take a look at the city-by-city forecast.
Well, with all the chaos that's happening in the world, which we have been reporting to you tonight, time to take a break and focus on something good. Time now for the good news of the week, and today's story comes from Iraq. It's safe to say that Lydia Matthias is spending her summer vacation unlike any of her college classmates. She is teaching dance to children as a volunteer at the Khanke refugee camp in Dohuk, Iraq. Most people at the camp were forced to flee their homes under duress from ISIS. Now, it's hard to capture in words the trauma that camp's residents have experienced, but by using dance as a therapy tool, Matthias is doing what she can to try and make a small difference in their lives.
This camp is filled with refugees who have had to flee their homes because of ISIS. This displacement has really just taken everything, including their will to even try because of the hopelessness that comes from being a refugee. I'm studying dance at Belhaven University, but I've always been really interested in how dance can be taken off the stage. And that's when I really began to see a greater scope with dance and that maybe it could be used for something more than just myself. When this opportunity came about for me to volunteer at the center as a dance teacher, I really just couldn't resist. These children's desire to move is so great. They just took the class and there was laughter and smiles immediately, regardless of language barriers. We use a lot of motion and a lot of pointing and arrows and directions, and we communicate with our bodies. Dance is this really amazing vessel for which healing can take place because it involves physicality and connecting with yourself and your body. That's kind of a missing piece. There's a lot of focus on your mind and your thoughts and your emotions, and then sometimes the body is left out. Sometimes we label refugees as refugees, and that's all that they are, but they have the same needs that you and I have to be creative and to move and to breathe and to engage with their humanity. I think having a creative outlet within a camp is so necessary because it's not only fulfilling those needs for food and shelter, but also fulfilling that need for them as human beings.
And that is a part of your world tonight right here on Other Derana 24/7. I'm Mahesh Johnny. For the latest in local, international, business, sports and weather, Katharina Chang will return tomorrow first at 9. Be sure to join her then. Enjoy the weekend. Good night.